Hello and welcome. Today is July 8th, and welcome to another Conversations with Charvelle here on EBONI's Facebook page and YouTube. EBONI is Emerson's Black organization with natural interests, and here at the Alumni Association, we find it imperative that we keep sharing what EBONI members are doing post-graduation and as current students. So today, I'm going to bring on a phenomenal recent grad. He just graduated this year. Huge congratulations. Christopher Henderson-West has hit the ground running. He is a marketing strategist and a branding professional. He's going to show us how we can craft our own brands and help take our image and our brands to the next level. So without further ado, let's bring Christopher on. Uh-oh. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Hi, thank you for joining me.
Yes, of course, excited to be here, excited to have this opportunity.
Yes, and thank you so much for reaching out, and we're so excited. It's oftentimes we get kind of stuck in this TV and film realm, you know, the performance realm. It's nice to kind of break it up here with the little marketing, because who doesn't need marketing now in this social media age? Everybody, at least for myself, it seems like you should have your brands and you should know it well. So I'm excited to hear the tips and tricks that you're going to bring on. Now, you actually invited one of your clients who you've been working with for about 3 years and a close friend of Emerson, London, Fleur. So why don't you introduce him and then we'll bring him on.
Sure. So yes, I had the chance to meet London about 3 years ago when during my first term, LOL, as Eagle president, putting together the drag ball that was going to happen in the fall. And I wanted to get some Vogue information and things like that. And that's how we connected. And since then, it has been a wild ride. I'm glad to call him not only a client, but also just a very good friend in general. And I am very excited to have him here. I thought it would be good to be able to not know only from a technical kind of professional aspect why branding matters, but also hear from somebody who has gone through the process or really is still going through the process of building a brand and how to make yourself marketable.
Love that. Yeah, awesome. So that being said, let's bring on London. Hi, London.
Hey, guys. Welcome. How you guys doing?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, my love.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you felt the need to...
My thing is I can't hear Charlotte.
Oh, no.
Charvelle.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Chris, you know, I can hear you, but I can't hear Charvelle.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I'm not able to. I can't hear you guys.
Oh, no. Let's see. Let's try this again. Let me try bringing him back in. Hey.
Hello.
Is it better? Can you hear us now? Nothing?
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. The audio is now on. Hey, guys, what's going on?
Okay. Ooh, we got there. All right. Well,
it's going in and out. I'm sorry, guys.
No worries. Well, we're glad that we got you now.
But, hey, guys, I'm so happy to be here. I'm London Escada, also London, Fleur. And hey, Chris. Hey, Charvelle.
Hello, my dear.
I really can't hear Charvelle at the moment, but I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, weird. Okay. Let's see. Christopher, can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Well, okay, let's see.
Should I sign out? You think I should sign out and come back in?
Maybe I'll remove myself real quick and then I'll come back in. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see. Thank you.
Okay, let's see if we can redo, restart. Okay.
Yes.
Back to the beginning. Okay. So we've introduced everybody. Fabulous. I want you to guys talk a little bit. Maybe London, why don't you start and tell us why you reached out, Christopher, thought it was important to work on your brand?
Reaching out to Chris and everything, I felt like for my brand was to reach college students that didn't know that this culture exists for them. And because like for me, I went to college at Holyoke Community College, and I didn't I had no idea that there was a ballroom community. So I felt like it was the right thing to do, to especially as far as like, trying to grasp on to people that want to learn and, find a new place and home for and their place inside a ballroom.
Got it. I love that. Okay, looks like we lost Chris. Oh my goodness, it's a hot mess. Okay, here I see him coming back on. Looks like you have a fan in the crowd, Katerina Aragon, Mother London.
Oh, that's my daughter. Hey, daughter.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Chris, you're back on. You there?
I don't know what's going on.
I think he got put in the place that I was at. I think I was in limbo for a minute.
Yeah. Apologize to everybody watching. It's hard when you get multiple people, different Wi-Fis and things like that, but we're gonna try and move along as best we can. So London was saying that it was imperative to reach out to other people, like especially college-age communities, and make sure that they feel seen and heard, and that representation and everything, and that's what drove him to reach out to you to help kind of more go at it in a strategic way. So Christopher, can you talk a little bit about your experience and why you felt that it was a good match with London?
Okay, so I think why it was a good match is, one, we quickly figured out that we just work well together. We found out that we have similar kind of ideas, standards for different things. We love a good show-stopping piece. And so one, I think on that level, we were able to connect. Through the journey of being able to create like the House of Emerson, allowed us to talk more about him also at the same time. And as we went along, learning about the culture that is a part of his story and a part of his brand. And so when it came down to us starting to actually work together, it just proved to be a very easy transition.
I'm pausing you right there. I can hear your fan, so I'm just gonna mute you for a little bit. But I want you to stay cool because I know it's hot. There's a little bit of a delay. So sorry.
No,
Chris, go ahead. Okay, good.
And so it just made things very, very easy. And it was very fun. That makes processing information all the better.
Great. So it sounds like it was this partnership that was kind of destined to be. Like, you guys have worked well, and you guys have been actually working together for about 3 years with me. So it's been, I'm sure, such a journey and learning and connecting and just developing together and growing together. That's such a beautiful thing. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the tips and tricks of branding yourself that you may not feel like other people, particularly Black people, are really aware of, that's important in today's, social media range and aspects?
Yes. Well, I definitely feel like if you're like branding yourself, you just got to make sure you're staying true to yourself. That's the first and number one rule, because I feel like a lot of people try to brand and use other things that they're seeing other people use, you have to stay true to yourself. That's the number one rule. Because after a while, you just want to make sure that you are able 10 years from now to still feel the same energy and same passion that you're feeling, today. So that is one thing I definitely want to make sure that is put out there, especially when you're trying to grow your own business. And after you have people trying to see what you're trying to build and what you're trying to deliver, you want to make sure that they can feel every type of character and essence that you give. So especially meeting up and teaming up with Chris, he has taught me how to put more of what my thoughts are out into the public. So the best thing is just making sure that anything that you do is kind of like thoughts and feeling and words and just anything that you can actually put together, because there's so many different industries that you can go into. You can go into artistry, you can go into dance and singing, and whatever you put your mind to, you just gotta make sure that you're putting yourself into the forefront to make sure people know exactly what your brand is, because your brand is yourself.
Anything else you can add, Christopher? Oh no, I can't hear him.
I know, I can't hear him on my side either.
Can't hear you.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that was
quite a delay.
That was it.
Let's see.
Isn't it so crazy how the new norm is all virtual?
I know, it is so crazy. Okay, Christopher, can you hear us?
I can hear y'all just fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, it sounds like you're in sync now, so go. What can you
yeah, I think that was...
I can't hear on my side.
LOL.
I can hear Christopher, so maybe the viewers can hear. Okay. I'm waiting for maybe somebody will let us know.
Yeah, let us know, guys.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, staying true to yourself. We got a comment. So they're hearing us, so this is good. Yeah. So okay. Keep going, keep moving. Okay, Tina also says we can hear now. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. We so appreciate it. You guys, trying to navigate everything is so hard. Okay, I can hear you all just fine. Thank you, Sammy.
Okay. Thank you, Sammy.
Okay. All right. So Christopher, London was saying, being yourself is really imperative so that 10 years down the line, you can look back and be like, that's me. That's still me. Yes. So what else would you say to people looking to brand themselves that they should incorporate in their strategy?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that is wonderful. And I think that is very much the essence of what branding is. I mean, branding is all to present the best, not even the best, but the truest version of yourself to the world. And in order to know that, you have to be able to know yourself, and you have to know what you can offer, along with what you, and being able to distinguish between those two is what makes the difference. It's what makes that brand stand out, because it's true to who you are. It's aligned with your own passion and drive. So I think when it comes to branding, it's important to keep three things in mind. There you go. So first, of course, know yourself. Know your personality, know what you want in the world. And this all kind of translates into the colors that you like, the fonts that you like. If you like more minimalistic design or more bold design, those all come together in aesthetics. So knowing that about yourself makes the process easier. Second is product placement. Once you know what you want to offer, know what you want, make sure you're consistent about going about placing it in the world, not only online, but in real life, walking the walk and talking the talk. I think of it a lot like you're born with a storefront. When you're born, you're given rights to a storefront. And before you can have like a brand opening, you have to know what you're selling. And not only you have to know what you're selling, you have to know how to make it so people are going to want to come into the store. Otherwise, you have a grand opening with nothing in there, and people are going to be like, "Where's the product? This is like dust." And it's all about knowing how to, unpack, brush off the dust, and unpack those dreams and ideas, and then present it to the world on a consistent basis. And then the third thing is being proactive. I mean, at this point, you're running the business that is called you, which I know I feel like it's such a cliche within the branding world, but you are running you. And so doing self PR, sending press releases. Every time I do something, I'm sending it out to I'm sending it to Emerson, I'm sending it to news outlets, I'm sending it here and there, so people know what I'm doing. Make sure people know what you're doing. And by doing that, I mean, that's how I was able to help get press and doing things of that sort. Even just people, it's a good way to also build a portfolio that's not of your own words, about people writing about you. So do self-PR, that goes about being proactive, make those connections, and establish yourself as a resource, as a go-to person. For whatever it is about what you are presenting to the world. I mean, when we started, I did a lot of resumes, personal branding, cover letters. I happened to work for a recruiting firm where I was looking not only executive resumes, but I was looking at intern resumes as well. And I got to sit through them, spend the whole day looking through them. And so that was able to give me insight into what people look for when they're hiring people.
Right.
And then also connect with other HR people and talking about, okay, so do you find this type of wording just absolutely bland and boring and things like that? Or I'm so tired of seeing this one resume template and things like that.
Right.
And so you're able to learn also from others in that sphere, and then take that information and be able to present it as a resource. And both of those things and all three of those kind of tactics translate not only to you as an individual, but also it comes to a business. I mean, we, for the most part, there was the day when Oprah was the go-to and she had Dr. Oz, but we knew Dr. Oz had built a good personal brand. So whatever Dr. Oz said, there was a chance we were going to go buy it.
Right.
So personal branding on you on a personal level only expands itself outward. And I think that's also very important to keep in mind.
Great. All helpful. Thank you. And for those that are just tuning in, I'm Charvelle, and I'm here with Christopher Henderson-West. He is the founder of HW & Company, marketing firm. He's here to give us insights and tips on personal branding. He just graduated from Emerson. Huge on that.
Congratulations again.
Right, and he's hit the ground running. And then we're also on with his client, London Fleur, who, yes, is also a big friend of Eagle and Emerson. And we're discussing how they've worked together to brand London's image, but also how Christopher helps other people kind of navigate social media, resumes, as he was just saying, so that we can always put our best foot forward, because so much of our lives are available at anybody's fingertips. So we want to make sure that anybody can look us up and see the best version of ourselves. And Kevin Lyles just chimed in not too long ago. He said, is the branding that you speak of more personal branding, or do you brand products or online and brick and mortar businesses as well? So why don't you talk to us a little bit about the business that you've created and your goals for the future?
So, that's for me, right?
Well, let's start with Christopher, because I think it's he's the, you know, the strategist, and then you can talk a little bit about your process as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. A little delay.
I still can't hear him on my side, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at HW and Company, we work.
Okay. And let's.
At HW and Company, we branding with small business, nonprofit, political branding as well. But
We had hit a groove. I don't know what happened.
maybe is there a lag? There's probably a lag.
It just goes in and out. I think it's like a virtual thing. Yeah.
All right. I got a little bit of a note of small business branding. Is that kind of what you were saying?
For me, right?
No, I'm still trying to catch up on Chris's.
Chris.
Uh-oh.
Are we good? Wait.
Let's see. All right. I can't hear anything from Chris. London, would you be able to talk about that for yourself at least a little bit while we try and work this out?
Yes, and it's just about like small businesses and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me,
Can you hear me now?
For myself, because I'm not really like selling products or anything, but it can be just for like a small business as well. It can come down to if you are just like, you know, a corner store or just want to open up your own fashion store or boutique. I feel like it should be about, just how Chris said, it should be around your product. Your product should be around your brand, or like what you have put into your, you know, what do you want to put out to the public? Like, what do you want to see people to see you as when you're going through all your products and brand and just strategies of the way of today is, especially on social media. Instagram is really a big thing that helps people brand things out there. It's almost just like, you know, if you need like a starter up, almost like a website, almost kind of thing, almost there. Yeah. But people can find out information about you, so people can see deeper than what you have on websites. They can get a chance to know who you are. The more people get to know who you are, the more that your brand becomes more of a personality, and people, like, you know, will start to tend to, you know, come to it and want to be, you know what you're given, and you know. So I think in this whole experience, Chris has like shown me how to kind of bring myself to the table, and so other people can, you know, as well sit at the table and have some conversations with me.
I love that. Yeah, because so often we make it a competition, but there's room for everybody at the table.
Exactly.
So I love that. That's a huge message. Let's see, Christopher, can you hear us? let's see if we can hear you. Okay, you're a little muffled.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Chris. I can hear you.
Okay, we can finally hear you.
I'm done.
Okay. Another question. What things do you suggest to do to establish yourself as like a go-to person? So how can you, you know, plan your brand so that you are the person to go to?
Okay, so once you kind of know, can you hear me? I just want to.
Yes, perfect. Keep going.
Yes. Okay, so essentially what you want to do, once you know what it is that you're doing, then you have to start doing the research. Research what your market is like, research your target audience. And I mean, this is things that we work with our branding and small businesses with to do, is to figure out, that research and discovery process. And once you're able to do that, you kind of know the kind of content that you need to put out there. So a lot of the curated content, so that's content that's not original. A lot of the curated content that we produce has to do with branding. So people know if they go to our Facebook page or to our Twitter, there's links, there's good articles and things like that that gives good tips and tricks, design, inspiration, web design trends and things like that. So people know, okay, so that is where I go to for this. Establishing, even like with London, establishing yourself as an authority in that space.
Yes.
Vogue and if I want to learn Vogue, I need to go to him, or I need to follow his media and things like that. And it also comes down to how individual it is. I mean, recently I had the chance to work with somebody who did obituary poetry, which I'm like, okay, come through with a good niche, because that is a space that's unpopulated. And I think it's important, especially as Black people, we are not in a lot of fields. We don't have overrepresentation. And so just being in those fields in itself presents itself as a marketable opportunity in our own niche. One of my mentors, in DC runs Etiquette Institute, and I was having a conversation with her about how I always kind of love the idea of etiquette and things like that, and talking to her as a Black woman, and she was telling me that one of my colleagues are Black men, so that's a good niche for you to possibly look into and research and get into, and so that is something else to kind of keep in mind. Wait. So
awesome. Kind of expanding on that, London, can you explain what the process was when you first came to Chris, and like how has he helped you launch your brand and made you that
maybe that audio will be a
well, so at first, when we first our first encounter, we were just trying to figure out like workshops for voguing, just trying to teach the college basic elements and like how to bring it and how to bring it to like bring it to life and and teach it to a larger crowd. And then from there we end up he wanted to do an event, and he's like, hey, what about if we start throwing balls here? And I'm like, why don't you think about throwing a house, like make a house out of the college, because every college has an LGBT club. Right. So I'm just like, what, this would be a perfect time to actually, guide people and, actually make it part of something. So me and Chris started talking, and we got into the events, and we went into the partnership of making the first ball. And then from there, we kind of just like, I needed some guidance. I knew Chris was better, his expertise and just knowing about websites and how things work, and just the whole social networking and the media. He showed me how to attack and build on areas that I didn't think that was technically at the time necessary for a business, but he showed me once you can change things, knowing the way that society moves in different areas of selling and advertisement and things like that. So that helps with building your brand. And
Right.
just in in our moments of building that relationship, he asked me, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? And I had to kind of sit down and really think about what I wanted and line it up to where my goal wanted to be at. So as we did that, in those layers of figuring out how many years, where you want to be in 5 years, we broke those layers down, and we are attacking each layer as a goal. And so make sure you guys have goals, have those goals and dreams that you want to get to, and focus on that road. So he kind of helped me get my website up, getting it to be so professionally done, and just when you go to the website, you want to be into it. You want to read more into it. So it's just the way he helped me out with website building and social media building. He has put in those blank fillers that I didn't know about. And that really has a very crucial part of your building of your brand. It allows people to kind of get to know you. And also, I kind of wanted to go back a little bit when we were trying to figure out how do you find yourself in your brand.
Right.
For me, I took, as Chris asked me what I wanted to do in 5 years, I took that opportunity to kind of sit down and just really deeply have a soul search inside of what I really needed to be done. And then I wanted to know what was me and what wasn't. So I was paying attention to news and just other artists, and your competition is not just your competition. Your competition is also your tool to build on yourself as well. So I kind of took back and analyzed, and I'm just you know what, this works. This is me. This is how I feel. This is the moods. I put them all together, and Chris enhanced it to, be on a platform. So when people review it, they can get the story and they can get the brand. And this, I think that is so important nowadays that I feel some people don't really do. Some people just out there, just a brand and, try to sell something, but the brand is you. So you got to always remember that at the end of the day.
Okay. So Christopher, what I'm hearing is we need to be very targeted. We need to make sure we know our audience. We need to curate content very deliberately and, and set goals.
Yeah.
So I like that you were talking about where do you see yourself in 5 years? Can you talk a little bit? Because I feel like so many of us are there's no roadmap. And really the fact of the matter is we have to create our map. And I love that you're saying you set the goals for those 5-year marks. Can you talk a little bit about that process, Christopher, and what you do with your clients? Yeah, I can hear you.
You can.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I figure it's going to be better without video. So I remember. I remember. Okay, so this may be a little bit roundabout, but I remember the day that I kind of learned about London, and this will be a good story because this is what I do with a lot of my clients.
Okay.
So I went over his house, and we initially were just talking, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Well, we just ended up, that just kind of stretched out and us having a good time. I think I came at 2 o'clock. I didn't leave until 10 p.m. And we were just having a good time. But during that, I was able to see him. I got to see his family. I got to see how he interacts with others. I got to hear about him and hear his story and hear his history. And I got to learn about his dreams and his ideas and everything that he wanted to do. Very much similar to what he said, I take this information and I work to synthesize it. Where is, even with one of my clients, also Annette Meza, she was running for Congress. Normally I just have a 30-minute meeting with people. We met for coffee and we ended up talking for 3.5 hours. And it's very similar, the same thing. Yeah, I get to see them be who they are, see them interact with the world. Even during that whole time, there was a man who came up to us asking for some change, and she was like, and all of that, what is I take my notes, I synthesize it into like, okay, this is what we need to do. Here's how we get here, and we just keep on breaking it down to each simplest of the simplest of parts, and to my designers, whether that they're doing graphic design or web design, and all of that information helps us essentially see the future. It helps us see, okay, we have this one piece of marble. How do I solve this and chisel away here, get rid of this unnecessary part here, tame this part of the ego here, make sure that they know this part of history here, in order to create once again that truest and best version of yourself, and that's how you get the building stones and the building blocks rather of launching a brand. Really, I say everybody has a brand. It's probably already out there and you just don't know it. You just got to reel it back in and take control of that story. Especially if it's personal. If you're looking at a business, same thing. You're setting goals, you're setting marketing goals. You know where you want your business to be. You know what your business to mean. And I think of like, even what I wanted my company to look like until I fully knew what I wanted about myself, and who I was, and the person that I want my work to represent. And because people like genuineness, people like authenticity, and making sure you're able to portray that.
I love that. And for Marlene, she said, what is his website? Just so you guys can see it here, it is Henderson-West.co, but I actually have here.
I'll post a link too.
And let's see if we can add it. So you can see here that this is Henderson-West and Company. Love this. Branding the impossible. Your brand, your aesthetic is your story. So kind of what we've been talking about here. People need to see who you are. And Christopher wants to help you show them. So beautiful website. Again, this is one of the many things. We have Christopher Henderson-West here, branding strategist. And that was his website, but he's, helped London here, who's our other guest, in creating his brand and channeling his truest story and making that what he presents to the world so that he's always his authentic self, which I love because so many people, and a little backstory about me, I am an influencer, so I live in that world. I'm a plus size model. And so many times I meet these people in person and I'm like, you are nothing like your social media page. I don't know who that is because I really only know you from Instagram. And so it can be oftentimes jarring when people are not their authentic selves, like you're saying. So I love that that's a huge part of what you do, Christopher, and what you've done for London. We have a couple new comments in here. Let's see. Kevin Lyles had checked it out. He's a Houstonian, lived there for 30 years. Awesome. All right. Very cool. Very cool. And here it is again. The link. Christopher put it in there for us. Perfect. So be sure to check him out. And thank you to everybody who's kind of kept with us. I know this has been kind of very challenging technologically stream, but I feel like this is super important for us to talk about. And I want to talk about the basics. So we have, the viewers, people that are going to come watch the video after we're done. What are maybe the first two things both of you, maybe we'll start with London and then you can talk about, you know, your journey, and then Christopher go in from the professional aspect. The first two things I think people can do today to start on their authentic branding journey.
To start on that authentic journey, I would say get a book, write down a whole bunch of things that intrigue you or kind of like excite you, or things that you feel that is a part of you. I feel like you should write that down. The more you write, the more you manifest. And manifestation is
huge.
Yes. You have to let the universe know it, you know, so you can't just keep it in your thoughts, because my mom always told me, if you say anything into the public, anybody can own it because it's in the public. So that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to get it from your mind to a piece of paper, from paper to the public, to the public, all over. I feel like what they definitely should start today is just getting those kind of goals started already, and then from there, maybe if you need any type of help, reach for help. Sometimes you need that. I needed it. I need that extra push, that extra, you know, mind, because you need a team behind you to actually get to where you need to get to. But take baby steps. Always get to know the person you're getting to know, because even working with people, you have to make sure that they are also a part of your brand and believe in your brand and what you want to kind of bring to the table. Because like for me, I'm coming from a voguing background, a Black male in voguing, and I'm just like, how can I turn this into a business? Like, you know, this is like the thing that I am so passionate about, but I just don't know what way to go so people in a masses of people can like get where I'm coming from to actually connect to it. So Chris is just like, all right, you know, I already told you guys this is about 5 years. So I took everything I've done in the past 10 years of my ballroom career, just the path, you know. Sorry. Like the path and, you know, the path and where I came from voguing and how the statuses and everything. I'm like, you know what? Perfect. I want to teach people the history as along with learning the elements of voguing. So I'm just like, you know what? That shows a deeper side, because I felt like a lot of people was learning Vogue, but they wasn't learning the essence of it. So I'm like, oh, let me write that down. They don't know about the essence, you know? And so I'm writing things down. And then from there, I'm just like, you know what? I need to be able to show this visually as well. So every day I started, whatever I was thinking of was starting to record and, you know, write down my thoughts and then start recording with that type of stuff. If you're a dancer. So I started dancing and I'm like, oh, this fits my brand. This is like my type of Vogue, because my everybody has a different type of Vogue. So I'm just like, all right, this is me. This is how when you see me on the floor, this is what I present. So this is what I want in my brand. So that's kind of how I kind of started on my own journey and getting things started. So I had to do that the day I needed to start. Get all your thoughts and get them in order.
I love that. So it's kind of like looking into the future, your goals, your aspirations, but also acknowledging the past. What have you done? Kind of like what has made you that authority in your arena that we're trying to become. You know, what has have you accomplished along the way? And oftentimes, that also being said, we forget about our accomplishments. We talk down on them. We don't honor them as accomplishments. So I think it's important that you said that we do look at that and cherish those steps. Christopher, please come in. What 2 things should highlight today? What's that? Uh-oh. Christopher, are you there? Hello, Christopher.
I just heard him too. He was just there.
No. This is great.
Okay, hello.
Hello?
Repeating that question.
Okay.
I didn't hear the last.
Are you
Hello?
there? Hello?
Hello?
Oh my goodness.
Hello?
Hello, Christopher. Your sound is off.
Wait,
Okay.
wait.
There you
I'm
hear
here.
You.
Wait, hello?
Okay. I hear you.
Hello?
I hear
Hello.
you.
Chris,
Hello.
can you give us two things that people can do?
Okay. I hear it. Sound is off. Yeah, so things that people can do today.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Two things that people can do today. I would say very similar to what London said. And this just also very much makes my job easier when people come to me already having done this. It makes for a very productive conversation, is what we've been talking about, both professionally and both personally: meditate and research. I say meditate, learn about who you are, and learn about what makes you happy. Learn your why. I think that is it. Know your why, because if you don't know your why, there's nothing I can do for you. If you don't know your why, nobody else is going to know it for you.
Amen.
And once you know that, then start building that portfolio. Okay, so I know I want to do poetry. Start collecting all that poetry. You know you want to do film. Start collecting your reel. If you are going into a business, start collecting that client list. Start collecting those products. Start collecting those news articles and press releases that you've been doing for self-PR. Start putting all of that together, because wherever you place it, wherever you're going to place it, you have to have content. There's a lot of times people will come to me, they're like, I want a website. And I'm like, wonderful, but what are you going to put on this website? And they don't have no copy, no images, no videos, no nothing. And it's like, well, what do you want? Yes, we can make it for you, but I can't go back to your, I don't know, choir concert when you were in your freshman year of college. You have to know how to go back and find that. And that's what I say you start doing now. Even way back in, before I even got to Emerson, I started my own personal website. I think that's always a wonderful place to start. Nowadays you can really start off at Instagram and be just fine as well. But like having a website, a central location, and starting to place the news articles and press releases that I've done, and start putting the coursework that I've done and the work outside of Emerson that I've done, the work that I've done with Emerson inside of organizations that I've done, and start collecting that. And all of that makes it so much easier forward and going into the future. So those are the two things. And if really quickly, I just want to add a third. You have to you have to be open to learning. If you aren't open to learning and you aren't open to being flexible and learning, there's also thing I can do for you. It's funny, I talk to and I'm in like African design group. They're talking about how they get clients who know what they want, and it's like, but we're telling you how to get there. But they're not. And like, okay, I'm just gonna give you what you want, and then whether it looks good or not is no longer up to me. I'm going to make it look as good as possible. But ultimately, if you are open to the flexible idea of conveying yourself better, then it's like, well, what's the point? Why are you coming to me? So it's also very important to come with a mindset to want to learn. I mean, even London, I send him every week. I've started now sending him links and videos of things that he can do
every 2 hours.
I call his 2-hour business me focus time. Of like, here's how I can do some goal setting, and here's how I can do this, and read and learn at the same time. Because it just makes everything.
Yeah. Can I add on to that, Chris?
I say go for it.
Yep. Okay. Also, with the 2 hour thing, he always tells me we're working from Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday you can have off. And so I go into my email. He sends me links of just something that you can meditate on, things that you can kind of like manifest, and it's just like, how can you grow your business? What can you put your investments into? What can you just vocabulary that can trigger a different group and dynamic, a group, So it's just like, those things are very important to do, because as you are branding, you want to put out this vibe of what you want in return. Because like, as you're giving your brand, there's also people that want to bring your brand to either connect and partner up together, or they're just trying to, also bring you to another level. And so you want to make sure any opportunities that you get out of your brand is something that represent what you love or what's from the heart. Because like, even when Legendary came to me, it's like it came in like a full circle, because this is something that I really, really wanted. And it's like something that I dreamed of, but I didn't think it could ever happen. But in the way things was going, like, as we was growing, as I was doing the workshop, I started seeing My House, which is like a reality show. Then I started seeing Pose, which is like a scripted show. And then Legendary is something that I needed for myself, because I'm not really good at acting, so I know Pose wasn't my forte. And so like, it's just somehow the brand brought the dreams to come to me. So I needed to give out what I loved to get in and to get back also the same love, and how they say, treat people how you want to be treated. And so that also goes for your brand as well.
Yeah, that's definitely, everything is a in and out system, cycles that you reap what you sow, etc. So I love that. And it's funny, because you can manifest for forever, but when things start, manifesting, becoming, your reality, it's like, you can't stop it. It's like dominoes at that point. So I love that this collaboration is so clear, between the two of you, that it's about authenticity. It's about purpose in life. It's about knowing your why and making sure that you're contributing something that is true to yourself, but also is bringing something to this world that either we don't have, or we need more of, kind of thing. And I love that we're able to see this, collaboration between, Black men, just, coming together and, working just to better yourself so that we can all be better. I want to thank you guys so much. This has been like such a tough chat, but it was beautiful. I think I loved it. We got so many good gems out of this discussion. So I want to thank you, and I want each of you to kind of tell us where is the best place to reach out to you. I know I have your website linked up here, but if you want to plug any social media or any of your emails where people can reach out to you, please let us know. So I don't know, London, you want to go first?
Yeah. So, hey guys, I'm London Escada. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter by London Escada. That's LONDONESCADA. And also, you can find me at my website also by londonescada.com, or you can find me by LondonFleur.lease or LondonFDL.com.
Got it. Let's see.
And for me, I would start my camera again, but I'm not going to take that risk. You can send me an email at chris@hendersonwest.co. I love talking to people, and I mean, a lot of people charge for a consultation, but literally just hearing people talk about their whys is payment enough. Chris@hendersonwest.co. You can find my website at hendersonwest.co or brandingtheimpossible.com, along with Branding the Impossible on Instagram or at A Clothing Company on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
Hashtag know your why.
Know your why. I love that so much. I'm gonna put it back up. Hashtag know your why from Tina. She made it official.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you, Tina.
Let's see here. Kevin said I could use an influencer and a branding person in my business too. So definitely reach out to us, Kevin, now that we have our emails and our websites up. Let's see. Tina chimed in again. You all have great energy. Thank you for reaching this old woman. So teaching this old woman something. I was taking notes. Love that. Never stop learning, which we also talked about today. Never done. You're never done. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And have a great evening. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Be blessed.
Love you guys.
Love you. Let's see here. So for those of you that are still locked in, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. I know this was a bit of a struggle for us today, but if you made it through, I think you were able to get some of these great gems for branding yourself, what you can do now, and how you can, move into the future of your brand. If you are interested in being a guest on these Ebony Lives, if you have something you want to do on your own, you're more than welcome. If you would like to get interviewed by me, also an option. I would love to chat with you. You can reach us at ebonyalumnila@gmail.com. And additionally, tune in next week. We have every week booked almost through the end of August. So we have some great programming coming up. Next week, we're going to have a very family-friendly showing from, I hope I pronounce this right, Ina Buckner Barnett. She is the Sunshine Storyteller. Her family-friendly concerts will ignite your imagination, tickle your funny bone, and help you shine like the sun. So that's going to be a great opportunity to just grab the kiddos, sit around the computer, the phone, whatever it may be, and just have a good, almost theater experience. So we hope you tune in next week. That is going to be on the 15th. So definitely come back for that. Until then, until my next one, which isn't for a couple of weeks, I hope you stay safe as well. Be healthy, and don't forget to know your why. Thank you so much.